Bad report cards are a thing of the past. Large California school districts are eliminating D and F grades. So students who fail a test or a homework assignment are now eligible for, quote, a do-over or more time to complete their work. One advocate, Patricia Russell, saying, quote, we're talking about people who are very young, and labeling them as such at such an early age as less than or more than can have significant psychological repercussions. Some things in life aren't zero-sum games, but learning should not be. Oh, wow, I wish I had that philosophy when I was in grade school and middle school. So here now to weigh in is Asra Nomani, Parents Defending Freedom Vice President, and Hadley Heath Manning, Independent Women's Forum Policy Director. Ladies, thanks for joining me. Though I would have liked that policy when I was in school, I don't think this is a great policy. Asra, tell me your thoughts on what California is doing here by kicking out D's and F's for our kids.
Oh, absolutely. Sean and Hadley, thanks for having me. This is literally the bigotry of low expectations. What these school districts have right now are, unfortunately, a lot of Hispanic and Black students that are reading below grade level, and they have been for years. So in order to understand the big picture of what was happening, I went to a website that we've created called defendinged.org. I put in Oakland Unified School District. This is one of the school districts where they are putting in these D's and F's off of the report card. Well, guess what I found? As we suspect, the woke industrial complex has been working hard in these school districts in the name of equity. A consulting group called National Equity Project has over $2 million of contracts just in Oakland and across the state. And what are they doing? They are trying to close the achievement gap, but they have failed to do so over years. And now, in order to clean up their act, they are getting rid of grades, as if that's a solution. But it's not. They are failing kids.
So yeah, Asra, it's interesting. This is a way to just basically cover up their failures. When you have kids that fail and you don't give them D's and F's, the numbers probably don't bear that out. But Hadley, I want to go to you because what concerns me is this is a global marketplace. We're not just competing, against other states. We're competing globally against China and India. All over the world, our kids compete. And to think that we can't be tough on grades to see where our kids are at, are they succeeding, are they failing? And if they're failing, then we can step in and give them more support to bring them along. But isn't this devastating for future economic development and growth for America?
Yes, and I think it's also a moral failure when we tell children that they should find all of their self-worth in their grades. I think most importantly, we want to emphasize to children that you are loved in spite of your failures, that failure is a part of life. You can ban failing grades, but you can't ban failure, and we shouldn't try to ban failure. Failure is a part of the learning process. There's no tolerance for second, third, fourth, infinite chances to get the material to measure up, to make the grade in the real world outside of the education system. So I think it's important for children to learn early that sometimes there's a deadline, sometimes there's a hard metric. You have to work your hardest and do your best, and you're loved no matter what. But there is ultimately a grade, and you're trying to make the grade.
Yeah, Hadley, and sometimes failure is actually good. And so the next time, if I didn't do well on this test, the next time I'm going to study harder. I'm going to work harder, and I want to accomplish that grade. Maybe I want to go from D to a C. Hopefully they're not going there. They're going to go to a B or an A. But that's a good thing for kids. And you're right, failure is part of life, and failure actually helps us grow. But I want to bring another topic up, Asra, because right now we are seeing a growing trend in the country where some school districts are turning to remote learning at least one day a week. So on Fridays they're taking off because the teachers are burned out, right? They can't teach full time. Well, my concern about this, number one, is what it does for the kids and their ability to learn, because when they're at home, they're not learning anything. I did that with, I think I had 7 kids at home trying to learn online. That doesn't work very well. But my bigger concern is we're trying to fill 11 million jobs in America. And if you have one parent that has to stay home because their kids can't get in school because teachers want an extra day off, that is horrible for our economy and our kids.
Absolutely. And just connects to our first segment, our first topic that we talked about. If you are getting rid of grades and now you're getting rid of school, where does that leave us? Where does that leave our families and our children? I mean, this has become a national security problem. You both put your finger on the exact issue that we face today. We are losing competitively, and you end up actually, leaving the kids at home. Parents in this job, in this market, in this economy, having to work while they are also schooling their kids. I mean, it's just untenable, and this is a failure. So who gets the F grade in all of this? The school system and the unions that are basically going along with these shenanigans all at the cost of our children.
You know what, though? I think that the parents and the voters also deserve an F or a D because we've allowed these woke school boards to take place in our communities. We've allowed our teaching colleges to turn out all these woke teachers that then infect our kids' minds. And so I think, though, we're going to go from that F or D grade, and I think we're going to start to transition and pay more attention. Is that right, Hadley? We're going to pay more attention to school boards and what teachers we get into our school system. Am I right? Parents are paying attention.
I agree. And so many families have already opted to take their children out of the public school system. Closing school on Fridays is only going to make that worse. However, there are many families who are already at the margins of society, already facing so many challenges. This hits them the hardest. You know, when you have an inflexible job, when you're a single parent, it's incredibly hard to arrange for your child to be home from school every Friday. So this is an equity issue. This is a fairness issue. If you're concerned about socioeconomic inequality, you should be concerned about the education system and its future, because right now it's not looking very bright.
You know what I think, when you wake up the mama bears of America and they start to see what happens to their children, they give major pushback. So ladies, thanks for all your work and thanks for joining me today on the show.
Thank you.